Hey guys, what's going on? Kyle Krieger here, and thanks for tuning in this week. My motive for making this video was to start a conversation, or to continue a conversation, amplify a conversation of one that's already kind of going on. I specifically sat down with a few of my friends who are people of color, and I wanted to ask and listen about their experience in the gay community. So check it out. Here's what I found out.
Evolutionary.
Challenging.
Troubling.
If there's a word that means like there's a task, but I'm equipped to handle it, it's like that feeling of like, I know that it's hard, I know it's gonna be difficult, but I'm strong enough to deal with it.
I think it was an issue when I really started kind of going out socially, and I think it was just kind of very thrown in my face.
I think almost immediately. Back in the day when any sort of encounter, sexual or whatever, but you would have to come out as black, which is strange. And you'd be like, I'm black, is that okay? And I think realized that was like my first immediate realization that even here I wasn't equal.
I think being born a black boy in this country, like you know that you're gonna have a harder time and you see that. And then I feel like also coming out was another layer on top of that. So I've pretty much always known, but it's the older I get, the more I can deal with it.
When like, let's say I'm on a dating app or whatever and I tell them I'm Cuban Dominican, automatically the whole like Latin lover, you know, like they're expecting me to talk like this, and you know, when they meet me they're like, oh, you're white. I'm like, first of all, what?
There are people who feel that black gay people are scary or ghetto, and then there are those who fetishize it, so they want you to be that.
I think you're just kind of generalized as being very weak, feminine, submissive, and in general you just have small anatomies, so.
Being angry, being not as smart, or having a big dick and being really sexual, which might not be false all the time, but you shouldn't go into it thinking that, you know, into an interaction with me thinking that.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah, for sure, of course.
Either you're really hot for an Asian, or I'm into Asian guys, which I feel like are equally offensive.
When I was like on Grindr and Scruff and all this stuff, it's like, it's right there that you can see. And I feel like that affected the way I dated for a long time because I always would second guess myself. I would always feel like, but he has to like black guys.
First it's like, oh, you're Latin, cool. That's a good thing. But then like, let's say I went on a date one time and they're like, you're not even Latin. And I was like, what does that mean? What do you want? What do you want me to do?
Other side of it is when you are dating someone or interested in someone that's white and you notice that all of their exes or previous partners were also black. The one side of, I don't want to have to think about whether you like me or not because of my race, and then there's the other side of, but do you only like me because of my race?
We've all seen a no blacks profile in our life, so yeah, you can't say no blacks because it seems to give this implication that you've seen every single black person in the world and that none of them can be attractive. And it's sure, maybe you can say it's just a preference, but that preference is rooted in the American adoration of whiteness, and why you feel that way is because the world has told you that. It's like black people aren't unattractive, it's because magazine covers, movies, and every other type of media you consume have made you believe that these people are more beautiful than other people, and then you go into a space like Grindr where it's already difficult enough for people to be there, and you put that on them there as well. And that is awful.
Common question that I usually get when people find out I'm Korean and they find out my last name is if I'm from North Korea or if I'm in one way or another related to Kim Jong-il. So, it happens all the time.
Do you know how to make guacamole? You know, because you're Mexican. I'm like, no, but I'm not Mexican.
Do you know how to swim? Are you afraid of dogs? Were you raised in a single parent household? Like, things like that.
Yes, I can make guacamole, but it doesn't, like, they don't teach you that when you come out of the womb in a Latin household, like, all right, guacamole time, you know?
Yeah, it's just really frustrating.
For a long time, I struggled with the question of, are you black first or are you gay first? And which does the world see you as? And it's obviously me now that I'm both, they go hand in hand and they're both what make my identity. For a long time, I feel like coming out and growing up, I had this thing about, well, I don't want that to define me. I don't want these things, I don't want my blackness to define me. I don't want my gayness to define me because I'm a person first. Which is cute, but like, that's not how the world works. And so it's like, those are the things that get me killed. So that is my identity. Through that, I learned how to accept them both equally and wear them prouder than before.
It's tiring to have to spend a lot of your time explaining to people that you're being oppressed. It's insightful into how oppression works, but it's ultimately hurtful to have to put the people who are being oppressed, put the burden of proof of their oppression on them as well.
I think it's important in our society to just ask more questions, like you're gonna seek to understand rather than be understood, because rather than just having assumptions about people, like let's say I just met you and I'm like, oh, I've seen Kyle Krieger online and this is, you know, this is what I think he is. Rather than do that, I can be like, so what's up? What do you like? What's your MO?
I believe that we are kind of a product of our surroundings, and if you're kind of like, all the images you see are of white male with a chiseled body, and that is your definition of masculinity or beauty, that's what most people are going to strive towards. Just being able to kind of diversify and not just be so cookie cutter in the way we kind of view what beauty and masculinity is.
When it comes to listening to other people's experiences, to sit back a little and not be so defensive.
I just think openness and communication and like getting to know people, asking questions. You can't grow and you stunt yourself from that interaction by not asking questions, not getting to know people.
It's good to be present, to listen, like just showing genuine care for another person.
Being an ally to me means standing with me, listening to me, supporting me, engaging with me, learning from me, and amplifying my voice, but realizing that it's my voice and my experience.
Sit back and listen. It's easier to be an ally who isn't argumentative, who is thoughtful and wants to learn. Talk less, smile more when people are trying to tell you about what they're going through.
I think it's important to just be you and be comfortable. It's gonna be hard at first, you know, because you're gonna feel alone, but that'll end. You'll get over that. It gets better. It gets better.
Well, my advice would be to make life worth it for you, because we got one time here and it's gonna be hard. Like, life is hard, but the answer to that is not to run away, but to be more unapologetically you and more proud of who you are. That's all we got.
Okay guys, thanks so much for tuning in today. Make sure you ask your friends what their experience is like and listen to them. Actively listen to them. And let's create a community that's more loving and more inclusive for everyone. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
And that's it.